Hello everyone, welcome back to Tabletop and Hobby Stop. It's finally time. Fighters of Europe is up on Kickstarter, so I wanted to go through the Kickstarter page with you and see everything that you could do, and also give you my quick thoughts on what's going on with the Kickstarter, and kind of analyze whether you should back it or not. This is not going to be a review video. I did do a review for Fighters of the Pacific. I did an in-depth review, and since these two games are using the same rules, the same systems, and all that, I'll go ahead and link the video in the description, and also probably in a pop-up here for the video. So this isn't going to be a review. This is basically just going to be taking a breeze through and seeing what you can get from the Fighters of Europe Kickstarter. So it's actually doing quite well so far. They had a almost $22,000 goal. They are about 4 times that now, just under 4 times that goal as of the moment of this filming. You guys are past the early bird phase, but don't worry, you guys can still get the coin. I'm sitting here pointing to the screen as if you guys can see that. You guys can still get this coin as an additional extra. You just get it free for being part of that first little bit. I think it's maybe a $5 or $10 coin, so not anything too crazy if you missed out on that early bird pledge. So for those of you who aren't familiar with what Fighters of Europe is, they actually already did a game that has released. It had a successful Kickstarter about 2 years ago, and it just came out late last year is when we actually received our Kickstarters, and it has become one of my favorite games. So it's an aerial dogfighting or airplane combat game that uses a hex movement system and 0 dice. So this is going to be the same system as Fighters of the Pacific. So if you guys are curious about that review I mentioned, or curious how it'll work, I have 3 gameplay videos for Fighters of Europe and 3 for Fighters of the Pacific up on the channel currently, as well as a review for Fighters of the Pacific, which I already mentioned. So I think a good place to start with this review is actually going to be right here on the pledge levels. That's what a lot of people are going to care about, is the money investment. So this game, the nice thing is because it is cardboard tokens, you can print a lot. You can have a lot of planes for not too much money otherwise. So you can have tons and tons of planes printed on one piece of cardboard, and that translates to not being too much of a money sink for a Kickstarter campaign like this. So you can really get a big bang for your buck. So we're gonna start out. They have the $1 or $2 pledge in this case, just to get your foot in the door, and then they have the battle pledge, which is just a base copy. That's going to be about $50 US. So I'm gonna give all of these in US dollars. About $88 for the campaign, which is going to come with the Battle of France and Defense of the Reich expansion. So this is going to be, if you guys are familiar with the Fighters of the Pacific, this is going to be like your Battle of Midway and Battle of Coral Sea style expansions, which I really like, by the way. It gives you extra planes, it gives you extra scenarios, and it's normally, well, not normally, it is historically based. So you guys are going to get, if you're really interested in the European theater, this is going to give you a way to play through those historical scenarios, and it's contained in a campaign book straight through. It's going to have, including the base pledge, it'll give you all of the airplanes that you need to play through these campaigns as well. So you don't have to worry that you'll have to buy more things beyond that. These expansion boxes give you everything that you need. And then the retailer pledge gives you 6 of each copy. So it's going to be the campaign pledge times 6, and this is obviously for retailers. I think you need to have I think you need to have a retailer's license in order to get that. So what it comes down to is these two. Jumping over to the add-ons. So this is what I was saying, that metallic coin that I really like. So this is $10. It's probably going to be about, I'm going to guess about $12, $14 US. And then we have extra boards. So if you want to make have bigger scenarios, and then the playmats, which I actually really enjoy the playmat from Fighters of the Pacific. I think it's a nice quality playmat. And then we have, this is a big thing, guys. If you missed out on the Fighters of the Pacific game, you can actually do the full all-in all-in as if you had gone with the Kickstarter before, right here in the Fighters of Europe. They also have the aces and leaders. I am excited for this. I really like that they did that for the Fighters of the Pacific as well. So when it comes down to it, guys, what excites me about this game, the reason I've made so much content based around this game, is number one, I do think it's a great value for you guys. I think for people who want to maybe try out wargaming, but maybe a little bit intimidated to go and pick up a whole bunch of models and paint a whole bunch of stuff, and maybe you want to do a big game, but you don't want to make the investment. This is a very reasonable price. It's very reasonably priced. Now, does this give you the feel of a full-on war game? No, but I don't think that it would be a very good game if it felt like a full-on war game, because what they're doing is they're crossing like right into the other side of wargaming. So it feels very much so like a board game. Because it is. I mean, it maneuvers everything like a board game, but it gives me that feeling of playing a war game enough that when I want to play this game with my wife and kids, it really does satisfy what I'm looking for. But the core mechanics of this game are solid. You watch my playthroughs, it takes a little bit to get used to the mechanics, but I actually do think that they have really solid mechanics. I like that it's a non-luck based game. I like that they have different strengths and weaknesses for the aircraft without becoming too cumbersome. So we're going to get into what actually comes in a box so you guys know what you're looking at here. So you can see these puzzle boards. There's going to be 8 double-sided boards, and those are basically going to be with clouds on one side and then blank on the other. And then this is going to be with, you can see my cursor here. This is going to be with the shoreline on one side, and then it's going to be blank on the other side. You get a bunch of tokens, so 12 Spitfires, 12 Hurricanes for the Royal Air Force, and then for the German, you're going to get 18 BF-109s, you're going to get 9 Ju-88s, 9 HE-111s. You get a bunch of tokens. This is, like I said, guys, if you backed Fighters of the Pacific, this is basically the same game as Fighters of the Pacific, just more airplanes, more scenarios, stuff like that. So if you're really into Fighters of the Pacific, this is going to be a lot more of the same in what I feel is probably the best way possible, because they're not trying to do anything over the top clever. They're taking everything we love and just applying it to a different section of the war. Expansion number 1 is going to be Battle of France. So it's going to come with, let's see here, 12, 24, 30 more aircraft for the Allied, so for the French. And then we're going to come with 6, 12, 21 more aircraft for the German side. Then we come with more tokens, so looks like you come with another token to represent the French, and then the German side as opposed to the British and the German side in the other one. Looks like some more objective markers, and then 5 scenarios, 2 reference sheets, which these reference sheets, guys, I actually really think they're They're very well done reference sheets, just as an aside. So you're going to get enough planes to play through the full campaign for for the Battle of France Fighters of Europe expansion. And expansion 2 is going to be Defense of the Reich. So we have the US side is going to have the 12 P-51 Mustangs. We're going to have some Thunderbolts in here, B-17 Flying Fortress. And then we're going to have the Luftwaffe is going to be some FW-190s and ME-262s along with some more tokens. And then 5 scenarios and the reference cards. This is probably going to be the one that I'm most excited about for obvious reasons. Next, guys, I want to get into stretch goals. This is actually where I think the Kickstarter really crosses the boundaries into what makes it so worth it to back on Kickstarter is the stretch goals you get here. So we have normally a large number of planes that are going to get unlocked, and then some scenarios. So right now we're looking for Operation Jericho scenario to be unlocked, but we'll go through here. We have these 3 planes. We have a scenario here, some Italian bombers, Battle of Riviera scenario. So this one's really cool, guys. We have the Tuskegee Airmen, which they famously they were African American pilots for the U.S. who actually they became popular because they would stick with the bombers. A lot of other bomber escorts generally tended to run off and chase the Germans when they would come swooping by, where the Tuskegee Airmen famously would stick with the bombers, and do their jobs very, very well. So they came to prominence, and they actually, through their hard work and diligence, they were given the P-51 aircraft because they didn't have the P-51 to start. And I actually have a really cool commemorative Tuskegee Airman coin that I picked up when I went to EAA Air Venture last year, which is great place to go if you guys ever get a chance. It's an awesome experience. That's in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, by the way. Not too far for me, but I know it's probably a little far for some of you guys. Moving on, we have night bombing scenario. We have some heavy bombers, more scenarios. So you see the idea here. We unlock, generally, I believe it's an airplane, then a scenario to use the airplane. So how a lot of these work is you'll actually get the stretch goals. If it works the same as they did in Fighters of the Pacific, you'll get the stretch goals in almost a separate expansion box. Then you get in a separate box, just like the expansions, you get all of the Kickstarter stuff. It was a ton of stuff unlocked for Fighters of Pacific, and then you get your initiative coin separately. If you order your extra boards or the playmats, those will come in another box. So the question of what is the right pledge for you, that is most times that is what people are wondering. Obviously, if you don't like the game, maybe throw them a couple bucks and just let it be just to support a creator and what they do. However, we're gonna talk about you want this game, but you don't know how much you should invest in it, if the expansions are worth it or not. I think I cover this pretty well in depth in my review that I mentioned earlier. However, the long and short of it is if you are not an aerial combat buff, if you don't care about World War II, but the mechanics look interesting, you don't care about airplanes, all of that stuff, just go with the base pledge. I think that the game itself stands on its own 2 feet when it comes to being a playable experience. This isn't one that it requires expansions. This isn't one where you're not going to feel fulfilled if you don't buy the expansions. I think 100%. I've had tons of fun with the base game. and it is completely fulfilling experience. However, if you're a big World War II fan, if you're a history fan, if you really, really like airplanes, I would definitely, for any of those things, I would definitely upgrade and get the campaign pledge. It's about just under double the cost. However, you get a lot of airplanes to play with. You get a lot of extra stuff. Going up to the add-ons, the aces and leaders, what this set does is it will actually tell you where to replace a plane, in which scenarios you should do the plane replacement. So if you really like that idea, what these guys have is some extra special rules that you get to tinker with. If it's the same as Fighters of the Pacific. This is really cool expansion just to have someone unique out on the board. I think that it's a cool expansion for just it's probably going to be about $12. The Fighters of the Pacific, I'm going to say you guys should go for it. Just go all in. Yeah, just get that too. But that's just my bias. I think that it's a great game, and this is probably going to be one of the last times you're going to get the chance to grab everything from Fighters of the Pacific. The playmat. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think the playmat is terribly too necessary. I'm going to go with it just because I like not having the shine for my videos. I like the feel. It's a really good quality playmat. However, I think that the puzzle boards are perfectly fine. And in fact, I heard some other people speaking about how they actually prefer the puzzle boards, and they do line up very well. So a lot of these puzzle boards, you get the just low quality and it doesn't, quite jive right. These puzzle boards, they're fantastic. They're everything you need. So if you really like playmats, go with the playmat. But don't do it because you think it's going to enhance your Fighters of the Pacific or Fighters of Europe experience. The metal initiative token, same thing. You have an initiative token in there. I'm a big fan of coins, so I'm probably going to buy one or two extra of these coins just because I like having coins. I can't tell you why. It's just the collector in me. So that's kind of my breakdown of where you guys should spend your money. If you're a fan of board game and mechanics but don't care about anything else in here, it's a solid game, pick it up. If you are a fan of history and you really like everything that kind of goes along with this, go for the all-in. These extras, none of them are really necessary for the enhancement of your game. The aces and leaders, I think, is probably the one that I would suggest if you're going to go with any of them, aces and leaders. And if you guys really want to try to make a big game, pick up some extra boards. But the rest of this is not necessary. And the playmat, as cool as it is for me, and I will be getting probably another 2. I got 2 for Fighters of the Pacific. Go ahead, pick it up if you like playmats, but honestly, it's not going to enhance your gameplay. So where does that leave us? Everything all told, you're still kind of on the fence. I say try the game out. You guys can go right here. You go onto Tabletopia, which is free. They have the game on there for free. Me being biased, I'm going to say watch my videos. See how you like the game by watching my videos, and maybe play some as well. I'll have the full playlist linked at the end for Fighters of the Pacific and Fighters of Europe. You guys can read the rules right here. You can watch my videos. You can even play the game yourself on Tabletopia, which is how I actually played the first 3 Fighters of the Pacific. I was lucky enough for Fighters of Europe that they sent me a copy because I played Fighters of the Pacific. So I think if you guys are still on the fence, just grab your wife, grab your kid, grab someone, jump on Tabletopia, and give it a shot, because I do think the game stands on its own, that you will want to get it after playing it. This is a fun game. This is a fun experience. If you get confused by the rules a little bit, the community has been awesome at answering all of the questions. I'm a part of the Facebook group. I try to help answer questions whenever I see them pop up. But once you guys play a couple of these games, it's going to just flow, and you're going to have tons of fun with the experience. All right, guys, thanks for joining me on this look through the Fighters of Europe Kickstarter page. Seriously, if you guys have any questions, I have played this game a ton. I've played it for YouTube. I play it in my own personal time. It's a game that I do genuinely enjoy. In fact, when we most recently went out of town, I normally like to bring a board game. This is the one that I chose to bring outside of the YouTube world. I chose to bring this with, so that my wife and I could play while we were away for a couple of days. So go ahead and leave your comments down below. Give it a try. Watch my videos. Go ahead and there's plenty of stuff out there. Join the Facebook group and ask people about it. There's playthroughs, everything you need. But I hope that I have managed to win you over on this game. It really is a great game. And if you guys like the video, please hit the like. Subscribe if you think I earned it. And I will see you in the next one.